Hey everybody, and welcome back. Alright, well, after that little diversion last week, which thankfully I was able to fix without too much trouble, we're back to our B44. So as you can see, I've dragged everything over here so we can get stuck in. But before we do that, it's the summer. In fact, it's 80 degrees today. I'm going to start using the AC again. So this is going to affect the videos a little bit. It's not going to mean that there aren't going to be anything like that. But seeing as now that it's turned into more of a sort of workshop vlog because of it being a weekly thing, my week will be split up a little bit more. There's quite a bit of work to do. You know, we have several acres of gardens. Well, we have about, I don't know, two and a half acres, which is lawns, and then there are some really big flower beds, there's road bushes, there's all sorts of stuff that Linda has, and it takes a lot of looking after, and we're not getting any younger, so things like when the mulch comes now, I move it around in the tractor rather than Linda shoveling it into the little trailer on her lawn tractor. So things like that. So there'll probably be a day a week. Then I'll be out riding more. I used to be a big angler when I was younger, living in Middlesbrough. Me and a couple of friends would get the train, because that was the only way we had to move around, and we'd either get the train out to a place called Glaisdale on the River Esk, or we'd go up onto the Tees, a place called Middleton Wanrow. Glaisdale was alright, it was trout of course, because the station was right near the free stretch of river. But Middleton Wanrow was quite a hike from the railway station at Dinsdale. And in fact it was downhill going, but it was, you know, when you were tired at the end of the day, it was uphill coming back. And if it was rainy and you had all your gear, big rod bag and the box with all your stuff in and what have you. So I definitely want to do some fishing. I've got all my gear here, it's just in the basement, so I'm going to get out. Anyway, cut a long story short, I'm probably only going to do a couple, maybe at the most 3 days a week in the workshop. So what we're going to do is, whatever I get done, that's the video, a bit like last week. Alright, so having said that, I can't think of anything else to say. I've pulled this box out which says B44 round barrel on it. Let's see what's in here before we start on the airbox. So this box was actually in the shed behind the garage, so I had a quick look in it before, and I've got the crank out because I've noticed there was a little bit of surface rust on the flywheels. So this has been given the what do they call that stuff, the evapor rust treatment. So that's all come up very nicely, so that's ready. Oh, and ow! God. Yeah, I've actually cut the skin on the edge of that, and look, it's got a great chamfer on it. Bugger. So this big end is perfect. Still got its bearings on it, so we're going to have to get them off. That hurt, that. It's going to bleed as well. Okay. Alright, so let's put that to one side. I'm slowly gathering all the stuff together. Oh. Where are we? That's the standard piston that I bought to see if it would fit. There's our nice new piston. Plus 50. And I've checked it in the bore. It just to say fits. So one very quick, very light horn, and I think we'll be perfect with that. And I realised why sort of Japanese pistons are so much cheaper. I mean, that cost me, I think it was $90. There's the B44 piston. That would cost me $250. But it suddenly struck me, as I say, when this arrived, and that that's how that comes, with piston rings, with gudgeon pin. I had to buy the piston rings separately, which were another $80, something like that, $90. So there's $180, and then you would have to buy the gudgeon pin and the circlips. So they aren't that any cheaper, I don't think. Alright, so let me put those to one side. All ready to go with them. See what we've got in here. Okay. There's a primary chain. Oh, which I don't think we'll use. Oh, there's another primary chain. We'll have to check that one, see how long it is, because it's nice and flexible. There's one of those inner covers, I think. Hang on. Let me walk around this side. Nope, there isn't one on those cases, although I'm sure I've got one. Oh yeah, I do have one. So that's an extra one of those. Right, and we've got some stuff in bags. Alright. Still got its bearing on it, look. So that's the, what is it, first gear? I think it's first gear. That's the one that goes into the casing. The sprocket goes on there. The clutch piece comes through there. So there's that. What's this? More gearbox internals. That looks like a lay shaft. Push rod. The bits for the gear change. Stuff like that. And this is cam followers. Hopefully there's another one in there. Hang on. There's a bolt. No, there's a whole load of bolts. There's only one cam follower. So keep a note of that. Hope we find another one. I mean, I've got a load of B44 stuff, but hang on. I tell you, that thing knows when I'm working down here. Alright, what have we got here? That's not brilliant. I think it'll clean up. Chain wheel, clutch basket, whatever you want to call it. And here we have got another primary chain with its crankshaft sprocket, which of course we don't need because we'll be getting a smaller one to lower the gear in. And these we won't need. Alternator rotor and the ignition auto advance. So we're not going to need any of that. Another bit of the gearbox. That is the crankshaft pinion. There's this little timing mark. So we've got that. Push rods. I'll have to make a list of all this so that I know what I've got and what I haven't got. Clutch centre. Oh, that's in pretty good condition. That with that. Clutch, well, we'll be putting new clutch plates in, but there's the end cover and the various nuts and things are in this bag. We'll be getting new rollers and what have you. Camshaft. That looks pretty good. What's in this bag? Ah, there's the other cam follower. oil pump. And another big bag here. Oh, I must have put some, as I say, I have that looks like a new primary chain, or if not, very little used. More clutch plates. There's a little bag of rollers, but we don't need them because we'll be getting new ones. Oh, much nicer end plate. And another crankshaft sprocket. Again, really good condition, that one. So I guess we still... Oh, hang on. Stay where you are. There's the other shaft. Let's think. Keyway on that end. That thread's not brilliant. Yeah, that's got to be the main shaft. Where are we? Yeah, there we go. So there's our main shaft. Wrong. You'd think I'd know how these go after all the ones I've done, wouldn't you? There we go. That goes on there like that. And that goes on there like that. So there is our main shaft. I'm going to put it back in this box. And didn't I have holes? Yeah. That's got 4 gears on it. There's the lay shaft. And that has got one. Alright, so we've got a complete gearbox, all the gearbox internals, we've got our crank there, we've got the camshaft, we've got the cam followers, we've got the push rods, we've got the oil pump, we've got the crankshaft sprocket. I believe that that is everything. Our clutch basket, clutch centre, pressure plate. Yep, we're good. That's everything for that engine. Alright, I'll put this stuff all away again, and then actually it's 4:45 because I have been doing other stuff. We'll start this tomorrow morning. Well, we'll start the airbox tomorrow morning. Good morning, everybody. A new day dawns. Actually, hot and sunny again. We haven't had any rain for a couple of weeks, and the long range forecast says it's there's none in the forecast for the next week. Alright, here's where we're working today. I've got the back wheel jacked up so that it's at what would be the limit of the suspension travel, and as you can see here, I've put a mudguard on so I know how much space we've got. So basically we've got the same amount of space as we had with the Enfield, so we're going to do something exactly the same. Make a box, feed it through the top. I think what I'm going to do at the top is maybe have it slightly lower, put a deeper skirt on here just to give me a bit more air space in here. Doesn't seem to be affecting the end field at all. I'm sure it's breathing perfectly well, but you know. And also I think what I'm going to do at the back here of the airbox is I'm going to put a little lip on it, because it struck me when I was washing the bike, this is like when it's raining and the slope is going to bring any water down here. I don't want it to go into the air filter box. Anyway, let's put our carb back on. Level. Yep, that's level. Screwdriver. Now I've got the rubber piece to connect to the airbox, and as I say, I've got one of those plumbing fixtures for drains. This is, what size is it? It's 1.5. This is actually 1 3/4, because for those of you who don't know, I think I've mentioned this in the past, tube is measured by its OD. So this is when I say this is 1.5 inch tube, that means the outside diameter is 1.5 inches. If it was 1.5 inch pipe, that would refer to the inside diameter. So as with this, says it's 1.5 inches. Hold on 1 second. I keep leaving you on your own, don't I? Should I edit these bits out or not? No, I can't be bothered. Alright, so this says on it it's 1.5 inches, but it's actually 1 7/8, because there's the thickness of the tube, the pipe wall, to be taken into account. So that is just fractionally bigger than I want it, but that's as close as I get it. And this stuff is very flexible, which is why it's nice. So what we'll do is that will clamp up. I'm going to cut this little lip off so that I can clamp it up tighter, because the clamp will only go at that lip, and as you can see there isn't a lot to clamp it to. So we'll clamp that on there, and then what I'm going to do for this end, because as you can see it sticks out, and you know the whole point of this design is for the modern riding technique to get us closer in there. As I say, this is very flexible. What we're going to do is we're going to make it like that, actually squared. So it's going to be square there. So it's going to be that, and then thinner. And I've just done some measurements. The cross-sectional area of this is 1.3 inches, something like that. Squared off, this comes to about 2 and a bit inch by 1 inch. And that's like 1.27, but the actual choke is only 1 square inch, 0.99 something. So we'll get lots of breathing through that being thinner in there. Alright, so let me cut this lip off, and then we're going to decide how long we want this, because I want it to be as close in as I can get it. So there's that all tightened on. We're just touching here, so that will probably, so if I make that square over there, I might cut this piece off. It might just tuck in a little bit, and then we'll make our square piece there. It's gonna stick out a little bit, but not too much. You know, I've been thinking about this while I was thinking of this, and I've decided that the seat pillar type of frame, although it worked fine for the Enfield, is a bit of a pain when it comes to fitting in oil tanks and and air boxes. So I think in future any frames we build, I'm going to rework the jig I made so that it has like a dummy seat pillar, and then we're going to have these pieces here. Although there, of course, it wouldn't do me any good because it would be, well, it would, because I could turn it in, this wouldn't be here. Anyway, just an aside. Right, so let me cut that back to there. They didn't make I was hoping they would make a step down from this size to the smaller one, but they didn't, because that would have been perfect. But I'm going to cut that. See, that's still very flexible there. I'm going to cut that off there, just at that edge, and then I think we'll make a long box section, or actually it'd be a rectangle, an oblong, just to see where it goes. Okay, so let me do that. Alright, well, my brain must be firing on all cylinders this morning, because it suddenly struck me that if I make up my oblong piece tube, test piece, whatever, and it's not the right size, then I've wasted a lot of time and effort and whatever. So I thought, I don't need it to be tube for testing, I just need it to be the right oblong dimensions. So I made up a piece of wood, because I thought if it doesn't work right, I can easily make another one, and so on. So this is to my original guesstimate of 1 inch by 2 1/4 that way, and that's virtually perfect. And I found that really to get it into the tube easily, rounded edges were better. So we can now put that into there like that. Put that on there. Let's put that way up. Right, now this is a bit long. Whoops. So we'll just put it in. Oh, one. There we go. I've also been able to find out that that is too long to get in. Okay, let me go and shorten this a little bit. As I say, it's a lot easier to work with a bit of wood. Right, moved you around the other side. So, that fits in there nicely. Now we don't even need to have a clip on it. Don't forget, this is just the air box. So, it doesn't need to be sort of a pressure fit or anything. If you think about most air boxes, they just push on. So we can make this, we can even put a little lip on it. So as you can see, because of the way the carb is, that points up a little bit. So we'd have to bring it down slightly here. So when it comes out of here, it's got to go down a bit. And actually, I can make it go in. So we'd make the oblong box, we'd have to cut a little V in it. I think that's the easiest way than to try and make this in pieces and weld it all together. We'll make an oblong box, we'll cut a V in it, bend it down, tack it, and then cut a V on the inside, bend it that way so that it goes right in there. It's going to be really sort of footrest back here, your legs are going to be up here, it's going to be fine. That's going to work really well. So we know that's going to work like that. So the next thing to do is decide our dimensions here so we can make this box up, and then we'll see where it goes and we can make this. So let's leave this part for now. I just wanted to make sure that would all work, and see if I can find some cardboard and we'll get to cutting out some alloy to make our box. Right, so I started cutting out my cardboard templates. This is the top, this is the bottom. And I haven't gone mad and tried to do curves to fit round the rear mudguard. I decided it wasn't worth the effort. So the next thing I need to do is the sides, which are 3 inches. So Let's think, I've forgotten how I did this now. Oh yeah, so I've actually marked it out. So it's going to be that long at the top, and that long at the bottom. Right, it's going to slope down obviously. So let me cut that and cut another one for the other side, and then because when these actually get put on, it'll be on that way. So that'll stand. Something's still in yet. That'll be stood up like that, and that one is going to go on there like that. All right. So let me cut these out, and we'll do a bit of taping. Right. So there's the shape. Obviously we'll have a back, and as I say, I haven't bothered to try and curve that. It's just going to be a flat back and a flat front, and this top won't actually be part of it because the top has got to go on there. Now then, the one we did on the Enfield, remember, which had the curved back, which I think I made out of part of a mudguard, part of an alloy mudguard, bolted to the mudguard. We're not going to do that this time because I might be using plastic mudguards. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of mountings on the top, a couple of tabs welded on the frame tubes, and then this will have tapped pieces that we could just push it in and put a couple of bolts through, and we're done. Hold it like that, or maybe something at the bottom, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. We might slide it in between a bottom mount and a top mount, or a couple of top mounts at the back, maybe, and a bottom mount at the front. That might be the easiest way. Just slide it in. Oh, I wouldn't really. Depends on how easy it will be to get to a bottom mount. We'll see. That's all to come. And I think what I'll do this time as well, instead of just doing holes, is I'm going to mill in some long sort of slots like that. Sort of like that, and then with a central mounted, same as the other one. So this will make a top that will be that shape with those slots in. It'll just slide in and then get screwed on, and the filter will be under there, and I think that will breathe fine. Okay, let's see how it looks on the bike. So I'll show it from this side. The idea is that this is just going to be able to, as I say, slide in like that. Now obviously here, see, and then we're going to have a couple of tabs. Don't know how a tab would go on the bottom. We'll think about that, but certainly two little mountings back here. Now as you can see, this is going to make, well, we're going to, even with the sort of jogging it, it's going to enter at the corner. So we're going to have to do some clever cutting out here to get that to fit in and weld on there nicely. So I've got to do some more thinking now about exactly how I am going to mount this. See, if I have tabs on the top, then they're actually going to have to be sticking out here, because this top part I want to be able to slide in and off to get at the filter. So we'll probably, I will have to make a top, won't I? This has got to be double. Yeah, of course I have, otherwise there'd be nothing for the filter to lean against. So we'll have to have two of these. One that will be at the actual box, and then that will have those slots in, and then there'll be the filter will go on the top of that, and then there'll be another top to go on that, because this one wants to be down in here, so the filter will go in, and then the top one's. Oh, there's going to be some sitting on my chair and looking at this, I think, for a while. Yeah. And there is the box. Okay, so as usual we're going to try and make this out of as few pieces as possible. So I know the top piece has got to be separate because we've got to weld that in a little down room for the foam. So what we're going to try and make in one piece, if I've got a big enough piece of alloy, is front, sides, bottom and back. So that's why I've only put a couple of little bits there. So let's see if we can butterfly this. So the top wants to come out completely. Oh, where did I tape this? Come on. Guess I need to put a new blade in here. Alright, here we go. Right, so there's that. Come on, you little tinker. I don't want to cut cardboard, I just want to cut tape. There we go. There's the tape. There's that bit of tape. That bit, so the top comes off. We're not going to make that. So that is what we're going to try and cut out of another little angel, look. So we try and cut that out of one piece of alloy and then we can fold it up and then we have less seams to weld up. Although this time of course it doesn't matter so much because if we get a couple of little pinholes it's not going to upset things. Then we'll cut two of them. We'll cut two of these, we'll drill that hole through both of them and then we'll use that to fasten them together and mount them on a piece of wood, because it's only going to be 16th, and then I can drill some holes in the corners, pop a mill in and we'll mill round. Okay, so let's go and look for some 16th alloy sheet for this. Right, I've got you at the slight angle to reduce the glare. So not only was this my very last piece of cardboard, so I'll have to have a trip to a, I don't know, crafts place, but this is my last big sheet of 16th alloy. So we'll cut that out there. I've got to think about how it's oriented on the sheet so I can get it into the bandsaw, because the bandsaw is a 14-inch throat. Then, as I say, we'll cut two of those out. We'll get all of that out of that. Now I was thinking, this is the back, that I'd maybe cut that with an extra piece and fold that to make the mounting. But I decided that that would still be starting to get difficult, and once I'd folded it up, if I had to cut a curve in it, it would be awkward. So we're just simply going to make the mounting separate when I finally think of how I'm going to do it and weld them on. We might make them out of 1/8 if the little knees. So let me get this marked out, cut it out, and then we're going to think how we're going to bend it. That one, or that one, and that one, and then block. Put those two, I can do those two I think in the bender, or maybe not, and then clamp a block on, bend that up. I get a lot of comments about when I'm doing this, you know, like you can't make sharp angles, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'll just say what I always say on this. well, first of all, thank you for all the comments. I do read them and what have you. But I've been making stuff like this for years. I've never had one of them fracture. Not even... Right, there are the 3 pieces cut out. And I've put my felt tip pen on both sides of that so that I can anneal it. So we'll anneal this and fold it up. Right then, got this marked up, and you can just see the marks on both sides of the felt tip pen, so it's all annealed. That's a bit tight, isn't it? No, I can't do it that way. I don't think I can do any of this, can I? Because it's... Nope, can't do it there. So back to the way I usually do it. This piece of stainless actually has a rounded edge to it, so is everybody happy now? So there's one side done. Oh, now isn't that lucky? We can just get it clamped up, just to see. You little bugger. These things are sent to try us. One clamp will do it. And I don't foul the clamp, which I'm going to do. There we go. That and that. Now then, this one, that piece actually has a rounded edge as well. But I don't know how we're going to get that to clamp. Hang on. That edge is rounded as well, mate. Oh, now I'm going to have to get a different clamp. Right, what happened there? I pressed the little red record button and nothing happened. These are good, they've got a little button on, you press it and it disconnects the thread. Okay, now then, I'll have a longer bit of that. No, that won't work. I won't keep you hanging around, you've seen me bending it. Let me find a piece and do that last bit. And there's that. It's come together quite nicely, isn't it? So that all needs to be tacked. You know, put it in together, tacked, and then we can weld that up. Now then, let me show you this. I'm going to move you, so hold on, and then it'll go fuzzy for a second till I refocus. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Now watch me turn this the wrong way. Yep. There you go. So I've marked this out, clamped it down. I'm going to put it... This was too big to go in the vise, but it suddenly struck me I can screw this to a piece of 2x4, put it in the vise. So I've marked this out. I'm going to mark a centre point, drill it 1/4 inch, and then I'll sort of counter drill on the other side so I can get a bolt through, fasten it down, and then we'll have a couple of clamps to hold it at each end, probably like that. And I'll have marked that out. We'll cut out 2 nice big pieces. Alright, let me do that. I've got all the holes drilled, and I noticed at this end, when I did the ones out, the drill was lifting it slightly, so I've put in a nice thick parallel across there to clamp it down to hold those ends. Here it was fine. So let me get this set up so that I know I'm going exactly straight, and then we can just go down and zip along and do all the horizontal, well, back and forward ones, and then we'll set up and do those, and then I can even swivel the vise to do these in a straight line, so I don't have to try and follow the line. Right then, let's see if this will actually work. I prefer doing this with a brush. I want to come a bit more this way. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. So let me, just leave me to do this. I know some of you like watching the machining procedures, but... Right, well, I got all the front to back ones done, and then I had a considerable delay because that clamp there was fouling this. I don't know why. So I changed the clamps, still couldn't get, so I've been fiddling around trying to find a combination that would get me in down here. So I don't know what it'll be like at that end, but let's get this bit done anyway. So I think I had to find a slightly different, a longer end mill as well. Luckily, Bob Slater, who I built the original Tripsa for, who died recently, he was a machinist. He might have been a tool maker actually, tool and die maker. And a while ago he gave me a box, a cardboard box full of end mills. Another one with a whole load of drill bits in, and a third box. What did the third box have in it? I can't remember now, but he gave me a ton of stuff. Anyway, I think, let me just check that that is running true. Yeah, that should be fine. So this is it's slightly larger than a quarter, I think. We shall soon see. Turn it on, going the right way. Hang on, let me get round the other side of you. actually, that seems like a sharper end mill as well. Oh yeah, it's a much better finish. Alright, let me continue on. I'll do this one and I'll see if I can do the two top ones. Actually, it might be long enough now to get round this, and then we'll swivel this. Right, so that worked. It went right up to there with that longer end mill in. So now I've moved the vise round, so I've tracked from there to there. I can do it in one line. Full stop as well, so I don't have to worry about a lot deeper than I needed to actually. I've got about 1/8 of an inch down into the wood. But anyway, there's the first one cut out. So I hope you enjoyed that machining. I must admit I would have found it boring to watch. But anyway, let me get the rest of them out and then we'll show you the finished product. So there they are, finished off. It's getting late, so I just dressed one up to finish it. So that one, see, will get cut down very slightly. I made them both the same size, but one needs to be slightly smaller to fit down in there. And then the other one is slightly bigger, it'll go on the top. Alright, knocking off for the day. Right, so I've welded this up. And you can just see there, I scribed a line round, all the way around at the thickness of the foam. And of course this was too long, so I've had to cut the length, but that's fine. We'll weld it there, weld it there, weld it there. Don't forget this isn't particularly structural, it's just going to have a piece of foam on it. Then this piece will go on the top. What I'm going to do once this is welded in is just fold the edge over the tiniest little bit to give me something to sit this on. And that is basically, I've kept cutting the lower piece so that that is still, I just want to go through this hole, still goes into that hole down there. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do, see, I'm always thinking of sort of work holding, oh, you see it goes right through, is I'm going to make the piece to go on here that will be threaded for this to screw into. And I'll weld it on there. Then actually I was going to put a little cross piece on to hold this, but as you can see it's good enough. I can weld that. So let me make this piece, this little bobbin, and thread it and weld it on that, and then we can weld this in here. And as I say, I'll just fold the edge over very slightly. That'll sit on top of that. And then we still have to think of somewhere to mount this. Although I did have a thought. I kept thinking, oh, I can't have a mount sticking out because I won't be able to slide it in. Well, it's only this that I need to be able to slide in and off. when I'm cleaning the air filter. I mean, once this is bolted on, it's bolted on. So I can bolt this on with the mudguard off, which gives me a lot more freedom to make the mounting. So anyway, let me turn up this little piece and do a bit of welding. Right, so all welded in. Of course, when I came to it, I just fractionally short, so I can always get some more foam, but it's still over there. I've bent the edges over a little bit to give me a slight lip. Oh, that's a good fit. Then that goes on there. Hey. There we go. Got a little bit of tweaking to do, but other than that, it's one nice airbox. So, go on our sarnie and see if I can think up a way of doing some mountings. Alright, see you shortly. Little bit of local wildlife there out on the drive as I walk down. He's enjoying the sunshine. We get quite a lot of these. Not moving very quickly, is he? Oh well, we'll leave him to it. Well, got the snake on the drive. There you go. Alright, so I thought if I could mount this front and back, and at the back on the other side, the front would be held pretty tight. Well, 3 mountings would hold it, and then here of course it's going to be fastened pretty tightly to the carburetor. So what I've done is I've done that. Because as I say, without the mudguard and that, I can just take this down and take it out. It's not a problem. So what I'm going to do now is make a little ear to go on the frame, mount that to it. Have I made that big enough? Because I've got to have enough space to get the goes around there. That should have been nice. See, I cut a little bit out for that to go in. Yeah, that'll be alright. Alright, so let me cut as I said, ear, which will bolt to this, get this held in place. See, when this is right on the other side, that's fine, and it'll be inside the little cover of the saddle. And then we can bronze it onto there. So let me cut a piece of mild steel. Alright, there's the tab on for the second time, because I put it on the inside and then I realised that with the taper getting this thing to go on it was going to be difficult, whereas if it was on the inside it would just fall off. So I cut it off and redid it on this side. So I have cut a piece like that to go on the other side, which I will do. And I was thinking, people keep telling me about these riv nut things. Maybe I'll do a riv nut there, because I'm only going to do one mounting here. I can't do one that side because this is going to be cutting into there. So I reckon another one at the back and one there, and as I say, the carb holding it that side will be fine. Yeah. I'll put a little bracket on down here. put a little welding I'm starting to get so that I can't. Oh, I could get it from the other side, couldn't I? I could put a little bracket on there rather than drilling holes in the tube and having to buy riv nuts and a riv nut applicator and God knows what. I think I'll do that. And then it's out of the way, and then there'll be two at the top and one underneath. That'll be really good. Yeah, no, that's what I'll do. But that's for next week. So there we go. Going riding tomorrow with some friends where we had the last trial. They're going out to take the markers down, so we're going to ride the loop. That'll be fun. All right, so until next week, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.